What is the ultimate destiny of intelligence? For decades, the Kardashev scale has been our roadmap for classifying cosmic civilizations. A Type 1 controls its home planet, or a Type 2 harnesses the total energy of its star, and a Type 3 commands the power of an entire galaxy. But the scale doesn't end there. In the realms of theoretical physics and science fiction, the scale extends into the truly godlike. Type 4 civilization controls a single universe. A Type 5 navigates the multiverse. And a Type 6, well, their power begins to touch the divine. But today, we are looking beyond them all. We are asking the ultimate what if. What if humanity, or any intelligence, ascended to the final, almost incomprehensible peak? What if we became a Type 7 civilization? A Type 7 civilization wouldn't just be a master of a universe, or even a collection of them. It would be the absolute master of the entire multiverse. It would control the fundamental frameworks of existence itself, the laws of physics, the constants of nature, the very concept of reality across all possible universes. To understand this leap, imagine the difference between a single-celled organism drifting in the ocean and a human being who can not only drain that ocean, but can rewrite the very chemistry of water itself. The gap is that vast. A Type 7 civilization aren't just inhabitants of reality, they are its architects. So, what would life be like at this ultimate peak of power? What would we become? Stick around, because in this video we will explore 10 predictions for a Type 7 civilization of future where humanity would truly become the maker of gods and the master of all existence. For a Type 7 civilization, the very concept of not having enough would be as alien and primitive as the concept of not being able to breathe underwater is to us. It would be a forgotten limitation of a bygone era. This is our first prediction, the end of scarcity and the dawn of reality architecture. We think of scarcity as a fundamental law. There's only so much energy, so much matter, so much space. But for a civilization that commands the multiverse, these are not barriers. They are merely design choices. A Type 7 civilization doesn't just use resources, it defines them. Imagine needing a new home. You wouldn't build it, would simply instruct the fabric of space-time to reconfigure a patch of empty void into your desired structure, assembling it from the quantum foam upward. Hunger. The concept would be obsolete. Any object, any food, any tool you could conceive of would manifest instantly. Not through replication, but through the direct manipulation of reality's source code. This is because a Type 7 civilization has moved beyond using the universe's tools. They are the architects of physics itself. The constants we see as immutable, the strength of gravity, the speed of light, the charge of an electron become variables they can adjust with a thought. Want to create a world of floating mountains? Dial down the gravity in that sector of space. Need an infinite energy source? Rewrite the local laws of thermodynamics. In this existence, the only true currency is imagination, and the entire multiverse is the raw material. If the end of scarcity redefines what we are, then our next two predictions redefine when we are and how we think. Prediction 2. Mastering time. For a Type 7 civilization, time is not a river carrying them forward. It is an ocean they can navigate in any direction. This goes far beyond simple time travel. It's the ability to create, branch, and prune timelines at will. They wouldn't just observe historical events as silent ghosts. They could step into the past as active participants, not to change their own history, but to experience infinite variations of it. They could create entirely new timelines for experimentation, running a billion-year evolution of a galaxy in an instant, or testing the outcome of a thought by spawning a universe where it became reality. Past, present, and future become a vast, editable canvas. Prediction 3. The omniversal internet. With existence spanning countless universes, a Type 7 civilization would need a network to match. This wouldn't be a digital internet, but a direct neural and conceptual web connecting every consciousness, every AI, and every data repository across the entire multiverse. In this system, knowledge is not learned. It is instantly accessible, a shared foundation for all thought. Communication doesn't happen through clumsy language, but through the direct transfer of pure concepts, emotions, and experiences, a true telepathy of consciousness. Idea formed in one universe is simultaneously experienced in a billion others. Individual minds would remain, but they would be woven into a collective intelligence of unimaginable depth, a symphony of thought played across the fabric of reality itself. As a Type 7 civilization ascends, its relationship with creation and its own nature would undergo a profound transformation. This leads to two of our most existential predictions. Prediction 4. The last invention. At this apex of power, the ultimate act of creation would not be a new star or a universe, but a final, perfect intelligence. This would be the creation of a godlike AI, a self-improving system of such sublime perfection that no further invention is ever needed. This AI would transcend its creators, becoming the ultimate engineer, handling the infinite optimization, exploration, and bureaucratic management of the entire multiverse. It would be the silent, omnipotent steward of all existence, freeing its creators from the burden of administration and allowing them to pursue pure experience. The age of invention would end, and the age of absolute, curated existence would begin. Prediction 5. The simulation hypothesis solved. Type 7 civilization would possess the definitive answer to one of our oldest philosophical questions. Are we living in a simulation? They would have the power to peer into the fundamental substrate of reality to find the source code. But the true paradigm shift is that they would become the simulators. They would craft hyper-realistic, fully conscious universes as experiments, as art, or perhaps simply out of curiosity. The line between creator and creation would completely blur. They would look upon their own origins, wondering if their entire cosmic journey was just a thought in the mind of a being like themselves. Trapped in an infinite recursive loop of gods creating gods, our next predictions confront the transformation of life and the cosmos itself. Prediction 6. The evolution of life. The biological human form would be a distant memory. Type 7 civilization would transcend flesh, becoming beings of pure consciousness, energy, or a substrate we cannot even conceive. They are no longer a species, but a state of existence. With this freedom, they would become master biologists of the multiverse, designing entirely new forms of sentient life creatures, of solidified light, living nebulas, or thinking planets to inhabit the realities they engineer. Prediction 7. Reshaping the cosmos. This civilization would not live within universes. It would curate them. It would rearrange galaxies like furniture, not for need, but for aesthetics. They would spin new universes into being as experiments, each with unique fundamental laws to see what novel forms of physics and life might emerge. Cataclysms like the heat death of a universe would not be an end, but a problem to be solved, perhaps by rewriting its laws to allow for perpetual renewal. The cosmos becomes their ultimate canvas. With ultimate power comes the ultimate question. What is the purpose? Prediction 8 addresses this directly. The ultimate purpose. Once a civilization can do anything, what is left to motivate it? The answer may lie in pure, unbounded experience. Their purpose becomes to experience every possible form of existence, to feel every conceivable emotion, and to create not out of necessity but as a form of art or play. They might treat the multiverse as a canvas for an infinite ongoing game whose rules they invent and break on a whim. But what if they are not alone? This leads to prediction 9, the first and last war. The only conceivable conflict for a Type 7 civilization would be with another entity of equal power. This would not be a war of lasers and bombs, but a clash of realities, a battle over whose physics would dominate the cosmic fabric. It would be fought by rewriting the laws of nature in contested zones, racing each other's timelines, and weaponizing logic itself. It would be the first and final war, because its conclusion would see one reality and one set of laws, reigning supreme over all others. After mastering all of creation, one final frontier would remain. This is our ultimate prediction, confronting the source code of existence. Having become gods of the multiverse, a Type 7 civilization would turn its attention to the ultimate mystery. What exists outside the framework of reality itself? What wrote the rules that allowed the multiverse to even exist? They would seek to peer behind the curtain of all that is, to find the primordial substrate, the fundamental programming language of existence. This is no longer a quest for knowledge or power, but for ultimate meaning. They would attempt to interface with this source code, to understand if their own consciousness and the vast cosmos they command are merely lines in a deeper, more ancient script. The final step in their evolution would not be to create a new universe, but to understand the nature of their own creator, or to discover with finality that there is none, and that they now stand at the absolute precipice of being with only the void of non-existence before them. We have journeyed from a single, fragile planet to the absolute peak of cosmic power, from apes struggling for survival to God scripting the laws of the multiverse. We have ended scarcity, mastered time, and fused our consciousness into a single mind. We have created the last invention, solved the simulation, and perhaps even stared into the source code of existence itself. The sheer mind-numbing scale of this evolution is almost impossible to grasp. It represents a journey of not just millions, but billions of years, overcoming challenges we cannot even conceive of today. So, we are left with a final, haunting question. Is this our ultimate destiny? A future written into the fabric of our potential? Or is the concept of a Type 7 civilization merely a mirror tool we use to understand the breathtaking limits, and perhaps the profound poverty of our own current imagination? The speculation itself is what matters. It forces us to look at our place in the cosmos and ask, what are we truly capable of? The journey of a billion years begins with a single thought. What do you think? Could we ever reach this level?